Welcome to Deep in the Plus. I'm your host, Rob Whiteside. Thank you guys so much, as always, for being with us. We appreciate you. If you have not already, please subscribe to WDWNT TV for more great content, and also give this video a thumbs up as it helps people to find us. Us, you say? Who do you mean by us? It's my good friend Patrick Hackett. How are you, buddy?
I take the holiday seasons very seriously.
You really do. I feel like this is what we're going to review tonight is a Mickey Mouse Christmas special called Duck the Halls. And so I thought I would wear Mickey Mouse. Not you, sir. No, sir. You go Christmas.
Ham. Yes.
Yes. You know, we'd have it no other way. We'd have it no other way. So thank you for being with us. And let's, you were not part of it, but we talked about the new Mickey Mouse shorts, and Desi was on that one, and she kept saying, hashtag not my Mickey. How do you feel about the Mickey Mouse shorts, the modern Mickey Mouse shorts?
Oh, man. I thought I would have had some time before we got into this. So, Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Donald, Daisy, all fine. Not my Goofy. There's just something oddly grotesque about Goofy. And as I watched this, I felt, and you and I are similar age range, there was some almost Ren and Stimpy-esque quality to it, where it has that grotesqueness to it.
Bump, bump, bump. Yes.
Otherwise, it's pretty enjoyable, but there's something off. And if people are like, oh, that's not my Mickey, I get it. But I think that Mickey design is very cute. I think it's honestly the best Daisy design we've ever seen. But Goofy's awful. Awful, awful, awful. Ugh.
Well, and in the Mickey cartoons, he's the worst in the one where it's he's the zombie. But in general, I mean, I don't know, it's all kind of fun. I don't dislike Goofy. I mean, yeah, it is very Ren and Stimpy, the up close scratching their butts, or like when they get the one episode with Mickey and Minnie and the matching sweaters where he's like bringing his fingers down his face. Yeah. That is totally Ren and Stimpy. So, yeah, I get that. But comedy wise, I mean, I love the comedy of this, and there's a lot of Mickey Christmas. As you can see right here, there's the old school Pluto's Christmas Tree. There's the Mickey's Christmas Carol, the Mickey's Once and Twice Upon a Christmas. Honestly, we've never reviewed any of those.
Well, I'm going to tell you one that I will never review with you because it made my daughter cry with such anxiety. And my wife and I are like, no, I could see it. Why was this made to induce anxiety in children? Mickey Saves Christmas. It's the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse style of animation.
The computer generated.
Anxiety inducing. And I get what they're trying to pull off, but I didn't think this was what we were reviewing, by the way. When I heard Duck the Halls, I was like, oh, this must be the one with the nephews and Donald. And I was very excited. And I've realized that I've watched this so many times and had no idea what the name was.
This is the one you were talking about that induces stress. This doesn't even quite look like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse animation. This looks almost like, I don't know. It looks almost like stop action, but I'm sure that's what it is.
That's just the teaser picture. It's very much the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse animation.
Come inside, it's fun inside. The
Halloween special is really good, though. The Halloween special they dropped this year is good.
So when it comes to Christmas specials, we don't have this problem with this one, and we'll talk about this when we do Muppets Letters to Santa, is a lot of times I worry about what is this going to say? Because a lot of Christmas specials start with disbelief, and then they go back into belief. And so, I as a parent, I hated that. I freak out whenever when the kids were little and stuff like that was happening. I'd be like almost la 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 la, like when I saw this kind of stuff happening. This isn't that. This isn't about the belief or not belief. This is about our friend Donald.
Relatable.
It's our friend Donald, and he has not been able to experience Christmas, which is I feel like not something I ever thought about because he's in so many other Christmas specials. that like the idea that he's never celebrated Christmas is a leap for me. But I
You
mean,
got there so much faster than I did. I was like, oh, all right, I guess Donald's never experienced Christmas. And then I'm going back in my head, I'm like, wait a minute. He's been in
wait
all of
a
these,
minute.
in every one of them.
Yes.
Also, your geographic location has no effect on how you celebrate Christmas. People in
Yes.
Australia,
Yes.
it's summer.
Yes, and that both those things occur to me, because the basic gist is that everybody's getting ready for Christmas. They're having like an old-fashioned Christmas, and Donald and Daisy, Donald's getting all excited about it, and Donald and Daisy have to migrate. And the migration part is so funny in general because, for them, migration is everybody jumps into a minivan and heads south.
It was great. It was great.
Yeah, and
The
so they
oddly
have to. Go ahead.
oddly adult joke for no reason there too. When Daisy goes, "Oh, Donald, you like this part? I bought 6 new bikinis." I'm like, "Come on, Daisy!"
Daisy, how dare you? Um, but yeah, so Donald wants to stay for he wants to stay and celebrate with everybody else Christmas, and Daisy like loads him up in the minivan and drives him away because that's how you do it. Everybody gets in the minivan, and so when I'm watching this, the first thing I was thinking is the thing I told you, which was that he's been in other things. He plays, Scrooge's nephew in A Christmas Carol, and Scrooge is in that. And the whole basic gist of it is ducks can't stay in cold weather, they have to migrate. But to your point, what I finally got to as well was you can have Christmas anywhere. It doesn't have to be in the cold, but he's just so sad because he can't do Christmas and they're going to migrate. And so he decides to jump ship, run back, and have Christmas with his friends. And they're all excited and they're like, we're going to make this huge list. They come up with 187 things to do. And I'm like, I'm not sure. I love Christmas, man. I love Christmas.
I could come up with 187.
Could you?
I mean,
could you come up with
especially being
187?
from a multi-religious family, I get to pull from other places too. I think going back to the premise of it, I don't know why I pulled this out like I'm suddenly telestrating. Going back to the premise of it,
Professor
I think
Hackett.
if they set it up that Donald never spent Christmas with his friends, that I think is better than Donald never celebrated Christmas. Because I'll tell you, holidays in a location that isn't your primary location are different. So I can see that. I think they should have pitched it that way. And then the other thing, and man, Rob, I hate to do this. You're not gonna like me much after this. Do we have to accept a Disney multiverse now? Is that where we're at with the Disney company and what's canon, what's not, who's the character, where's the carryover? Where's the connections? And this universe is different than all the other universes.
Right. I'm here's the thing, buddy. I will go to the ends of the earth with you. I'm not going here. Nope, we're not. We're not having the multiverse conversation.
That's such
because
a really good choice on your part. I agree. That's a great choice.
Yeah. Thanks. Because in this one, I mean, they're all kind of like, okay, so Family Guy. You have an episode of Family Guy. You get to the end, then the next episode kind of erases it. The Simpsons are the same way. Everything starts from scratch. I feel like you get that here. Like everything is in its own little box. Like when he's in France and he speaks French and his job is to get croissant. And Minnie's job is to run a bakery. Like that's they're players in that play. So I feel like you don't have
going back to the original usage of like Mickey. Yeah. Okay.
And so I don't see that. However, there were some continuity things I had a problem with. One of them, as I mentioned, was Donald's been in Christmas Land before and he's been in snow before and had no problems. But the other one was, do they all live in the same house? Whose house were they decorating? Was it Mickey's house? Because Minnie was there and Goofy was there.
That's been pretty consistent in those that they all have like these different houses.
Okay.
They show Mickey, Donald, and Goofy's in at least 2. The foot one, which is really funny, and then the one where Goofy pretends to be his own grandmother to visit. So they show their different houses in that one.
You know what? You're right, because now that we're talking about this, I'm remembering that when it opened up, it does show that it's Mickey Mouse's house, because it says on the mailbox, it says Mickey Mouse, and then it says AKA Mr. Christmas. So this is Mickey's house. But I guess what threw me was Goofy's up in the attic getting the Christmas decorations, and Mickey's putting decorations on the tree, and Donald's there, and Daisy's there, and Minnie's there cooking. And so I guess for a second I was like, do they all live in this house in this particular episode? But you're right, they don't. The other thing I like about this one is it's got a very old school feel about it. There's this like, like, again, you said we're similar ages. I know I'm older, but when I was younger and my parents loved Perry Como and Nat King Cole and Bing Crosby and those specials, and like it feels a little bit like that. And even the scene where they cut to Mickey and you hear that song, like that old school music song, and Mickey is the one who's singing it with like the pipe and like, basically being Bing Crosby. I was like, I love
very
this.
Bing Crosby affect. Yeah, they did a great job with that. It does feel so classic in its own way, despite having the new animation style. It feels like it's a classic story, and it feels like it's of that time period.
Yeah, the saddle shoes. Yeah, and the vest and the whole deal. Yeah, an old school Christmas. Also, by the way, I don't know if you ever remember these. The thing that he's got on the floor, it spins with colors, and so there's a spotlight that would be in there at the top, and then as the orange comes through, everything turns orange. Green comes through, everything turns green, and it would just spin. They're a huge fire safety hazard, which is why they don't exist anymore. But we had one. We had one in my house when I was growing up, and it was awesome.
It's a safety hazard, but you gotta love the bubble lights. The bubble lights.
Oh, I've got one.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I've literally, we unpacked Christmas. I've got one plugged in downstairs. So it looks like a nightlight though. It has the click on and off.
Yeah. It's not the ones that previously burned down homes.
Don't worry, my popcorn buckets are safe. I know that's what you were worried about. I know, because you feel like I'm going to leave them to you. If you ever had
a fire, your house would just be encased in plastic.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, so let's move on from that. One of the things that I was looking through, and I found the bit where he was, where he's trying to decide if he's gonna go back, and he sees a billboard, and the billboard has Santa on it, and then he just kind of goes crazy. There was something on here. Oh, here it is. Hang on a second. That has that sort of Ren and Stimpy animation that you're talking about. And I'm stalling, and here it is. This is it. Like this is very similar. Like that, he's really very close, similar. And the wet beak and is like dripping, and the sweat and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
there's no need for that in Disney animation. There's no need for that. There's no place for it.
Okay, all right. Well,
also,
I mean,
that sign knocked everything off their car. Wouldn't that have happened even if Donald didn't decide to flee the coop?
Was it the sign knocked everything off?
I thought it was the sign.
Or was it him? I thought it was him jumping out of the car.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, I wish there was a way for us to figure that out. Oh, wait, there is.
There's no way.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Also, the flying V while they're driving, amazing.
So see, before he even gets to the hand, he is busted through. So anyway, all right. So we've got the premise here is that that Donald is going to stay with his buddies and celebrate Christmas, and they're going to do everything on the list. It's 187 things on the list. By the way, we've been talking about this for 15 minutes, and this episode is 23 minutes long. So putting that out there too. And honestly, you know what? This is one of those things where like the basic story, we can't ruin this. If you've never seen this before, it's not like there's spoilers galore. You should watch it.
Yeah.
If when we get to the end, Patrick decides we should, then we should. Yeah. So
It was
the
based on
ducks
your life
migrating.
decisions around
Yeah,
me.
the ducks migrating in vans. That was funny to me. When Mickey told his old school story, anything that stood out to you in that one?
Nothing that stood out to me, but I did like the old school feel of it. Was I missing something?
No, I don't think so. But I guess to me, it felt very like a Christmas Carol type of thing. But when he introduces or tells everybody like all the people that were in his family, he mentions his these that's Victoria and Albert.
Yes, I caught that immediately.
Yeah, thought that
I
was
caught
cute.
the Shining reference that comes on that next slide as well.
Oh, with the twins.
Yeah, the twins.
Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love them having fun with Mickey Mouse's family tree.
yeah.
That is definitely cool. But anyway, it goes so fast. That's the other thing I like about the Mickey Mouse, the newer Mickey Mouse cartoons is the pacing because they go through the bit with him singing the song and it feeling like an old school Christmas special, and then they talk about Christmas and he's telling this old school story, and so like we flash back to that, and it's 23 minutes, and they're just kind of like all over the place.
It's
I don't know. I
packed.
really,
It is
yeah,
packed.
yeah.
The dialogue's
Speaking,
very fast too. It was Amy Sherman Palladino is going to start, you know, getting upset. They're stealing her gimmick.
yes. One of the things that I tried to figure out was if there was anything cool in his stocking. I don't know that there's anything like that stands out here, but like
No.
those little details and things, and there's got to be a reason that it's these things. I don't know why, but that was interesting. Um, when you does it bother you in this new Mickey Mouse that his eyes look like Pac-Man eyes?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
bothers me from time to time because
Mm-hmm.
Pac-Man has Pac-Man eyes.
Wait a minute. Pac-Man's eye is also the shape of Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just a dot. Come on now. I think you're about to
Uh,
blow my whole world.
I guess what I meant was along the lines of this Pac-Man that's on the
Oh
side
my
of the
god!
machine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, obviously but the one that's on the side of the machine, his eyes
Yeah.
are Pac-Man eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's
But
that's just
usually you
something
see
that
him in profile. Yes, they're more dot-like. Okay, got it.
something that always bothers me though when I'm watching these is that every now and then I'll catch sight
Yeah,
of that. But I mean, it
yeah,
is a style
and
of
the
way to
figment
animate.
version of it too. Yeah,
Yes, go get your magnet. Anyway,
yeah. Rob, will it
so
last for another 40 days? I need 40
no,
days.
no, probably not. So while they're going through and they're trying to figure out what things they're going to do, they're going to do all 187 things. Then we cut back down to where Daisy is down south, and she's there with all the ducks, including Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Unfortunately, not the Ducktales. It's the Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Same voice, same personality. No differentiations between the nephews.
Right. But it's also not David Tennant as Scrooge McDuck.
Thank you. Oh, lost my microphone.
Yeah.
It is the worst Scrooge McDuck I've ever heard. Ever. It's awful. This is a terrible Scrooge McDuck. However, I will throw a compliment in there. Terrific Ludwig von Drake.
Oh, that's Corey Burton
So,
all the way. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. My
So,
wife was
yeah.
my daughter was very curious about him, so I got to see if I can dig up some of the old shorts to play for her. But yeah, by the way, it definitely looks like the Don Cesar at St. Pete's Beach in Florida. That pink hotel, even the sun setting on that side. I was like, I think I've been here where they're hanging out. But yeah, that Scrooge is terrible, terrible Scrooge, terrible.
Where is that? Because if this feels like Miami.
I was thinking it felt like St. Pete Beach to me because that,
Okay.
but yeah, it could feel like Miami too. It gives off very big Miami vibes.
I do love, again, this is an old school throwback of sorts, is when Ludwig starts trying to teach about like how ducks work. and that what's going to happen to Donald if he doesn't come back. Again, that feels very old school Disney cartoon.
Yes, I loved that. Loved it.
So when we're watching all these, the other thing that popped in my mind is that Donald's cousin. Do you remember that
Yeah.
when we did that cartoon?
Yes.
Because when he showed up, I thought it was Baby Huey for a second, and then I'm like, well, I mean, they look similar. But yeah, Donald's cousin shows up in here, and that's funny because we did the review on the shorts.
The Duck family tree is more like well crafted than Mickey's at this point in time. There's so many different branches.
Yeah, here he is. This is the dude. Because he in the Mickey short or the Donald short that we watched, he came into Donald's house and ate all his food, and yeah, you and I were both very upset by that one.
Don't revisit that.
Don't that's a don't pick at that scab. So anyway, so Daisy's down south with all the other ducks, and Donald's back home. And after they've described what's going to happen to him, we start seeing that happening.
Total
basically
system failure.
Yeah, he's slowly falling apart. He's got his beak falls off. He's got to tape that on. He's got he's just looks awful. He's falling apart. Mm-hmm. Can't he be okay in air conditioning, like heating? Like it feels like that's a thing.
I don't know, man. I think they played way too hard into that.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. like this one.
I'm a golden god. That's the only thing I could think of at that point in time. I'm like, oh, we're doing Almost Famous now. All right.
Yep. But I mean, again, it's well crafted the way that they go back and forth with all this stuff. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I appreciate the whole thing for what it is. But I'm blown away by the speed at which, they come up with the story, because I'm never bored. That happens sometimes in some things. There's like, you're bored. Never bored.
There's
and
times in shorts that we've watched that I've gotten bored in, like 9-minute shorts.
Yes. The Figaro ones
kept my attention.
I didn't love the Figaro ones. Just putting that out there. Okay, so he's getting worse, but they're trying to get everything done, and they get to Christmas Day, and when they get to Christmas Day, almost to Christmas Day, that's when he just loses it and goes ballistic, and he's falling apart, and they need to get him to the south. Apparently, you can't just bring him inside and put him by the fire. I don't know why. So they need to get him to the south. So they steal Santa's sled or his sleigh, and they just take off with it. And I mean, that's not something Mickey Mouse does. He doesn't steal from Santa.
No, he would have asked Santa for help, or Santa would have just noticed that Mickey was in trouble and would have came to the help. Man, the best gag, and it's so stupid, and even in animation, I don't know why physical comedy to me is the height of comedy. When they poke the reindeer in the butt with the tack. I don't know why. It got me. I was laughing so hard.
Was it that? What was the deal with that? It was like hyper speed.
Like hyper
Is that what
speed?
It was?
Yeah, turbo speed or something to kick in the turbo booster. I don't remember what the actual vernacular was.
Yeah, and so they need to go faster, and because Donald is they're losing him, and so he sees the button, and where is it? Oh, Pluto's holding him down.
Pluto.
Yeah,
I love Pluto.
Hyper speed.
There it is.
And then boink.
Bink.
And they all go. Why do they all go, Patrick?
I don't know.
They only poked one of them
me.
in the butt.
It got me. It was good. It was good.
Yeah, good times. Anyway, and at the same time, the Daisy's finally given up, and she's like putting her park on. They're getting ready to go. The nephews in the snowsuits. Well, that was a cute thing as they're waddling out. And I thought they were gonna have sort of a kind of a tail. What is it? the gift of the Magi situation where they flipped.
That's what I thought it was going to be too. Yes.
And yet at the last minute, they're sitting there, and the triplets go, "What is that?" And it's Mickey coming in the stolen sleigh, and then he basically, it's scorched earth. He ruins everything, and I don't know. It's just it didn't seem like it had to happen.
Unfortunate gag with the tanning person. I was just like, it's a bad gag.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like battle damaged Mickey either.
With the battle damaged Mickey with the broken ear or whatever.
Yeah. I felt like this is what it really in this scene played into like the grotesqueness of it all, and I didn't like it. No.
Stare at it. Look at it.
No, stop it. It's so horrible.
Well, here's the thing. This shouldn't be a thing that I'm doing, but since we're halfway through, and I want to ask everybody to, if you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up. I want to ask you some trivia questions, little things that I saw, I'm not even sure we call this trivia. We call this things we noticed in this short. So, can you play along with me for this one, Patrick?
Of course I can.
You may actually know some of this stuff, so so don't put it down too fast. When the short first starts, and is it a short or is it a special? We'll talk about that in a second. When it first starts, Goofy is carrying a box of something out of the attic. It's like Christmas lights and such. What does the box say?
Oh my god, I did notice this, but I cannot remember. It's a definite connection. What is it?
It says Christmas stuff.
Okay.
Literally just says Christmas stuff. And
I mean, that's literally how I label my boxes, Rob. So I get it.
But I mean, I was over here trying not to say Christmas stuff because I thought, well, I'm just gonna give it away.
I thought it was like a reference, but no, it's not.
Yeah, it's just Christmas stuff. There you go. Yep. Christmas stuff. So yeah, that's the first one. But I mean, again, I think that's a valid one. This one you may not know, but I found this a little funny. In the flashback story that Mickey tells of his youth, he goes down to the store and he buys a peppermint stick. How much did he pay for the peppermint stick?
5 cents.
He uses a different. It's British money.
Was it 2 quid? What's going on here? A halfpenny?
It's a farthing. It's a farthing.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, it's old school.
No, I did not notice that at all. No.
Yeah. Yes, he got a peppermint stick for a farthing. When Donald is leaving, his friends basically guilt him into staying because they give him a gift. It's a snow globe. And when he opens it up, there is a saying at the bottom of the snow globe. What does it say?
Wish you were here.
That is correct. It says, wish you were here. I think that's almost mean. It's almost mean.
It's real mean. It's real mean.
And they had it custom made because it's Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Pluto inside this thing. Like, haha, really you can't be with us.
My daughter has gotten into Super Kitties, and there's an episode of Super Kitties about this where Bitsy gets very sad because her bird friends are migrating south and she can't handle it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a parallel. And what's funny while I was thinking it is my daughter actually verbalized it. She's like, oh, just like Bitsy. They didn't want their friend to go.
It still seems a little cruel.
No, it's incredibly cruel.
Just putting that out there. So
they should sell that snow globe, though. I'd 100% buy it.
And give it to everyone who can't go to Disney World. Got it. So the last one that I
All right.
Yeah. When he gets back to the house, he hugs Mickey, and there's a sting of a song. What is this? What is that song that plays? It is a Christmas song. I'll give you that hint. And he gets back, and he hugs him real tight, and you hear,
I'll Be Home for Christmas. Is that what it
Joy
is?
to the world.
Oh yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because and again, there's a lot of Christmas music in here. There's some
Mm-hmm.
original stuff. There's some old school stuff. But what struck me about that is it's just such a moment almost, because
Yeah.
there's something about that stanza of that song that is so uplifting, and the fact they just kind of put it in there with this like he's back, joy to, like, I don't know. I thought that was kind of
Yeah.
cool. That's it. That's all I've got for you. I thought that was
Yeah,
that's
there wasn't a
pretty.
ton. I really looked for like a lot of different references, like you did in trying to see, and I didn't really see anything. I like these because occasionally they do have some fun references. I mean, obviously, I think I've stated on the show before that Potato Land is my favorite of the shorts, obviously because of all the theme park references. I just really enjoy it.
Yeah. No, Potato Land is great. There is a scene in this one
Yeah.
where he falls into what is the equivalent. Okay, I don't know how to say this.
Sure.
I'm not. I'm not sure this is okay.
All right. Oh yeah, huh?
It's Donald as basically
Yeah,
he's in a manger,
yeah,
and I feel like they
yeah.
might play Away in a Manger during that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Yeah,
okay?
I don't know if that's the best look. I'm sure that's going to make people angry.
I'm not sure it's the best look. Um, yeah, so
Yeah,
he
no,
falls into a
there's
barn. Yeah,
imagery in this that just doesn't hit right.
but again, he falls into a barn, and
Yeah,
then his friends come and find him, and he's laying in, again, what is the equivalent of a manger. And I keep trying to pause it, but you can't quite see it. Above
yeah,
him
yep,
is a star, as if it's the star in the sky. That
yeah.
the yeah, and the first thing I'm like, oh no no, oh, is this okay? Uh, and and Mickey says something along the lines of, "Oh, frankincense."
That you brought up the best part of this is Mickey's holiday cursing or whatever you want to call it, his expletives that he shouts out that were holiday related had me rolling. Yeah, oh frankincense, there was another one like I don't remember it, man, but they were so good. They really cracked me up, and I thought it felt authentically Mickey because there's a lot of times that Mickey feels like that awkward dad, even though he doesn't have kids, but he kind of fills that role in a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
making dad jokes. So it was well done.
I again, I got to that scene, and there's actually a scene. I don't know. Have you watched any of the new Christmas movies that have come out this season? One of them on
I have
Amazon
not.
Prime, Candy Cane Lane with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
I saw that, and then on Disney Plus, the Naughty Nine.
the Naughty Nine and Dashing All the Way, I think is the name of it, with Laura Howery, are both original on Disney Plus. But the Candy Cane Lane, Jillian Bell is in it, and they start talking about the meaning of Christmas, and she uses JC in her response, and I thought, okay, again, I don't know, a little weird, because again,
JC
it's
Chazet.
yeah, that's the one. I'm trying to keep it real for you, brother.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, I'm looking at this and I'm like, is this okay? But I guess so. I don't know. It's very, if you know, kind of a situation. Like there may be a lot of kids that see this and they don't think about that because it's just Donald falling in there. But it's very purposeful, him falling into the manger.
100%, very purposeful.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I think that's when we get to our like little final judgment section. I think that's probably going to weigh really heavily. Is that the purpose of a lot of this stuff clearly seems to be aimed towards adults. It
Mm,
does not seem to be for the kids, and it could be like it goes over the heads of kids, or it's blink and you miss it, but it doesn't feel children oriented. And of all things, Mickey Mouse should be.
yeah, agree. So we'll talk about that next.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing I was
Mhm.
saying I wanted to talk about though is I grew up on the Christmas specials. I loved
Yep.
the Christmas specials. That ABC spinning logo, like this is a
Oh
special
yeah.
ABC presentation, and
Or CBS. I remember a lot of CBS ones too.
it's the Grinch, it's Charlie Brown Christmas, it's
Yep.
all the Rankin and Bass stuff, Rudolph, Santa Claus is coming to town, Frosty the Snowman. Um, every time there was a new special, it was like amazing. And you and I did a review of Prep and Landing, which I think is probably my favorite modern day one of those.
Me too.
And, you know, obviously it's had its own sequel because it's so well done. Which again doesn't ever talk about really belief either. It assumes it from the beginning.
Well, I think it is actually. I mean, I could talk about Prep and Landing for hours at a clip. I think it's
Sure.
actually more about belief, but it's more from an adult perspective than from the child perspective. It's not, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. It's, hey, you too, working a 9 to 5 might get lost, and this time could be magical for you as well, even if you're so closely related to the holiday like the Prep and Landing elves are. Really well done special. Please go watch all of Prep and Landing. Great job by everyone involved.
And you and I
Bring
did
back
that
Jingle Bam.
review, and there was something I can't remember what
Oh
it was.
God, it's what elves do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it got stuck because we were doing it during the marathon, and it got stuck, and it reverbed, and we have it out there. I don't know. It's a double feature, Deep in the Plus. If you want to catch it, it's Noel that we did with Eric Wolf, and Patrick and I did Prep
Which
and
is
Landing.
another good Christmas movie.
But
Talented cast in that.
yeah, agree. Bill Hader, come
Yeah.
on, Ron Funches. So when I watch this, I feel like it's kind of that Christmas special. It's not just a Mickey Mouse short. It's got the long intro with the music. It's got,
Mm-hmm.
kind of that build up of, you're about to see something special, and then Donald throws open the window, and it really kind of watches like an old school Christmas special, and I miss those. Because right now everything's on demand, and you got to decide, like, what are you going to watch? Are you going to watch something new, like you were talking about the Naughty Nine? Or are you going to watch like all of your old school favorites? You're going to watch, Christmas Carol. Which one are you going to watch? The Jim Carrey creepy one,
Muppets.
the Muppets.
The
Well, of
only
course
answer
it's
to
the
that
Muppets.
is Muppets.
Of course it's the Muppets. Of course it is. But again, like it feels like one of those old school Christmas specials, don't you think? I
Yeah,
mean, again, you
I
said
think it does.
The,
I think it
the
does.
parent thing aside, though.
I think because I have a hard time putting Prep and Landing in that because it's so short. I think the second one might be 23 minutes, but the first two, the first and the third are 11. And this is a 23 minutes, so it's a half hour block. Although the Rankin and Bass specials are a little bit longer. I don't know. I guess I would call this a special. It's hard because in the day and age of streaming, like you were saying, nothing actually feels special. Kids, uh, there was a chance you missed something and it was gone forever,
Yeah.
or at least for another year. And DVRs came into play, but man, like if you didn't sit down and watch Rudolph when Rudolph was on the tit, that's your shot. I mean, those things very rarely came out on video or DVD or anything like
Yep.
that. So I guess it could be a special, but what's a special anymore? I really wish, in our 4-year celebration of Disney Plus, something I didn't mention that I wish I did is I wish they scheduled stuff. I wish that like Loki dropped at a specific time. I guess it does. They tell you what time it's going to come out on the East Coast, but I feel like there's so much chance for synergy and exposure if you were just like, hey, 9/8 Central, we're gonna play this live and maybe have running director's commentary underneath, or we're gonna take the quote unquote commercial breaks will be with the director or with one of the voices. There's so much of a chance to do live specials. I mean, going into my other world that's not Disney related is professional wrestling. I mean, the premium live event on streaming on Peacock for the WWE, it's still a huge draw. It still trends on social. They could put that up on demand, and they do afterwards, but there's something about the immediacy and the urgency and the specialness of it.
I think what you're getting at, though, is like we don't ever really have any shared moments anymore. It's one of those things where
It's
not every
sports and
yeah,
maybe like some of the live shows, you know,
Sports, and then the Grammys, the Emmys, things like that. Yeah,
like
I get what you're saying.
Masked Singer and stuff of that nature, Dancing with the Stars, I guess. But yeah, there's no urgency and immediacy, and I miss that. I do miss that. I do miss the specialness of the special, and like you and if like your
The
friend, heaven
specialness of the
forbid,
special.
you're gonna be in transit, and you're like, I might as well just stay at my buddy's house until this is over. I liked it.
Mrs. Johnson, can I stay for dinner? I don't want to miss Rudolph. What are you
100%,
having?
100%.
Yep, there's a lot of that stuff, dude, that we kind of miss out on. I mean, my kids growing up, they looked at a lot more like I don't know, like the let's not go out, let me get online with my friends. So, I mean,
Yeah, well, and
no
then
more of the come home when the street lights are on.
yeah. I was telling my daughter, like, I might not be able to plug my phone in on our drive into school today. And she was like, well, what will he do for music? I said, well, listen to the radio.
Bum,
She is
bum,
very upset she
bum.
can't control those. Like, if we just turn on the TV and it's broadcast television, she's like, oh, can you start this from the beginning? And no, it's gone. It
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, I get that. I don't know, but there was, to your point, something magical about this
Yeah.
this appointment based television where you would go and say, tonight at 8 o'clock it's going to be Rudolph, and we're all going to sit around in our pajamas and watch it and get to stay up a little bit later because Rudolph's on. And so that's what I do like about this one, that it gives me those kind of feels, is I guess where I was going with that. But you're saying that you feel like this is not appropriate for children. Do you think that it's okay? So, like the Muppets, you mentioned the Muppets.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in the Muppets that happens on the base level, and then there's the undertone that as adults we get. So it's like on a multiple level. I think Pixar used to do a great job with that as well. There's the main story, and that's for everybody, but there's little things underneath that like the kids don't get, that are okay, that the adults do. And so it's a little something for everybody. And that's kind of Walt's vision of Disneyland, was it's a park for everybody and all that. So do you think that that's here, or do you think there's enough raunchy that it's not really for kids?
I don't think it's raunchy. I wouldn't say that. I think I've used the word grotesque several times, but I feel like it's more visually upfront, where a lot of the other gags can be either a quick quip or a quick screenshot. Like, go back to Pixar, the Binford toolbox, and seeing that, and some of the other jokes here and there. But I think this one's a little more loud and upfront, and I feel like it's almost, to me, it's like a tween audience. And I know it did not hold my 4-year-old's attention. It did not hold her attention.
Really?
Even with characters that she loves. Yep.
Wow. Does she like the regular shorts?
She does. It's actually
Like
sometimes hard
Potato
to get her out of the rooms because she's just watching the shorts and she really enjoys them. Like, we do in fact have these at home. We are in the theme parks.
But again, if it's like one of the only things you can watch when you're in a Disney hotel room, if they haven't updated to the new TV systems and you're in there, like when I go with my kids and they're grown, we turn to that channel and we watch that, and you have the if you're watching it late at night, they then
The
after it's
night-night
over,
channel, we call it.
they have the Disney stories, and they tell you like that little awful music comes in and shows you what time the Lightning McQueen story is every night, and then it goes back into the next Mickey short. When we first went on a cruise, and I think I told this during the Mickey Mouse shorts when we first went on a cruise, a Disney cruise, they had those, and we at one point sat in the room and watched the same 7 over and over and over and over again, and but it was enjoyable. But when you're stuck and that's the only thing you can watch, there's nothing wrong with watching it. If you're at home and you can watch anything in the whole wide world, you're not going to choose that, though. I don't think. So, anyway, so at the very end of
not
this,
for kids is what I'm saying. I don't think like it's adult in that nature. I just feel like it's not as wholesome as I'd like it to be. I think that's the best way to put a bow on it.
Okay. All right. That's a pretty bow. At the very end, they are celebrating Christmas, which is what we were talking about from the beginning. You didn't actually have to go and freeze your tail feathers off. You could have celebrated Christmas at the beach. I love the imagery of the kite that is actually a wreath. I love the umbrella that looks like a Christmas tree, and even the hotels have ho 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 and Noel up above them. So they were really able to pull this off and make this a stunning Christmas, even though it's not 0 degrees. Speaking of which, where does Mickey live that it's 0 degrees? Does he live in Hartford, Connecticut?
I hope not. I mean, that doesn't feel like. I mean, he feels like Mickey should be in the heartland, right? He should be in Kansas City, Marceline. You know.
I get that, yeah. But it's cold.
It's cold
So,
there.
yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying, like it's definitely cold. They got the snow, and it's Christmassy, and that's. I don't know. I just wondered where specifically he lives, but I guess he just lives
It felt very
in our
much
hearts.
like where's Gotham City, where's Central City kind
Metropolis.
of deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so the music, like holiday music, is great. I don't know that there's anything that I would take away from this as a one that I would sing, but I like
No.
the music to this.
I think it has that very croonery old school vibe with it.
Yeah, and like I said, there's some stings, some stanzas, some hints to the classic Christmas songs like "Joy to the World" and "Away in a Manger," so you get to hear a little bit of that as well. So with so with all of this, there's a ton of Christmas and holiday on Disney Plus, and we've reviewed a ton of it as well. Like we were talking about, you and I did Jingle All the Way. And we've reviewed Home Alone. Desi and I did that one, which kind of counts as a Christmas movie. And then you've got, all of the new stuff like the Naughty Nine and everything that you can find on Disney Plus. So if you guys are looking,
Santa Clauses series.
Have you watched that, by the way?
I have not.
I love the original Santa Claus movies, but it's been hard for me to get into that series. I don't know why. But if you guys are looking for something on Disney Plus for the holidays, there is a holiday hub that you can go to, which has originals. Yes, hub. Sorry. Dashing Through the Snow. That was the one that I was talking about. The Lil Rel Howery one. The Santa Claus series. You have the Naughty Nine we were talking about. We reviewed Nightmare Before Christmas. We reviewed The Muppets Christmas Carol, Home Alone. Interesting you would throw Cool Runnings under winter favorites in here, but there it is. You got some the Puppy for Hanukkah in here.
Puppy for Hanukkah is amazing.
Okay.
It's so short and so funny.
And they break out other episodes here along the way.
I love that.
Disney
I wish they did that more.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of offerings on here. So, we've combed through and we've reviewed a lot of them already, and you can go back into our archives, deepintheplus.com, and find all of the holiday ones that we've done. We've done a ton of them. Is there anything else we want to talk about, though, with this one in particular, Patrick, before we offer final thoughts?
I don't know. I feel like we've got this for double its runtime, so I think we gave it its due.
It's due? Okay. All right. Well, before we get to the final thoughts on it, I want to say thank you to our WIGS members. We love our WIGS, the WDWNT Interglobe Society. If you want to learn more about that, it is our Patreon program. You can go to patreon.com/WDWNT to find out. Also, on Carousel of Products, we still have 10 Gertie shirts left. So if you're looking for the Gertie shirt, and we had a full run, sold out, did a second run, almost sold out of those. Hope you're a small or a large, but if you want to, we also have a lot of other neat merch on carouselofproducts.com. It'll come to you quickly if you want to buy that WDWNT fan in your life something. It's a great place to go to grab that stuff. And then don't forget that we have some other holiday stuff coming up. So here's a quick look at Deep in the Plus. Last week we did Robin Hood with Stephanie. This week, Duck the Halls with Patrick. Next week is going to be Christmas with Walt Disney with Desi. And then we're going to end it for the year with a Muppets Christmas Letters to Santa, which I don't know if I mentioned that one before or not. But anyway, so a lot of good stuff coming up. And also don't forget to join us on Sundays for Park Center. All right, Patrick, here it is. The moment of truth.
I've been
Um,
waiting.
we've talked about all of this stuff. I got an interesting vibe from you that I wasn't expecting, so I'm not really sure I know which way you're going with this, but I need to know, and the people need to know. Patrick Hackett, would you recommend this special?
No, I would
Ah,
not.
womp womp.
Um, there's plenty of great specials out there to go and watch. I feel like this is a waste of 23 minutes. If you want to get that nostalgia, find it with one of the ones that you're actually nostalgic for. Go watch Emmett Otter. Emmett Otter's way better. The problem is that the humor hits. It's great. It's funny. The characters are pretty spot on. The issue is that it's just the visuals don't match the vibe. This style, the new Mickey Mouse short, it doesn't lend itself well to this Christmas special. And what's really funny is I looked up the director. The director's worked in the art department of Gravity Falls, and I could definitely feel a little bit of Gravity Falls in this. It's not bad. You could definitely find 23 worse minutes to watch on there. Any of the shorts that we've reviewed recently. Um, but go find a better Christmas special, even if you got to veer off of Disney Plus.
Wow, that's fighting words, man. That is fighting words. I'm
I'm
going to tell you,
sorry.
I would recommend it. Honestly, I had a good time watching it. I mean, we picked it apart a lot, and there's some questionable things in it. But you know what? I do love the new Mickey Mouse shorts, and they've come to the end of their run. There was one final one with Mickey Mouse that ran where he went back and kind of relived all his old past lives, and that was kind of cool. But it's over, and I'm a little bit sad about that there aren't going to be new ones, because some of these, like you mentioned, Potato Land, are great, and I'm vibing with this. I do agree with you. Sometimes it goes a little bit into that Ren and Stimpy, and I don't love that, but there's not a ton of that
Yeah.
in here. There's also not like a ton of the gross Goofy in this one, even though it is Goofy. It's not the same thing we run into where he's the zombie. So I mean, I'd recommend it. I think it's a good time. I'm not sure I'm gonna do it on my every year thing. Something that's on my every year thing is what we talked about earlier, which is Prep and Landing. Prep and Landing, like, I'm not gonna put this over Prep and Landing in any way. I love Prep and Landing. This one hits the spot. There are
All
a
of them.
few specials that I always watch, and this is one. I can't get enough of it. And there's Prep and Landing, and then there's Prep and Landing Naughty versus Nice, and then there's all the shorts like Secret Santa. But I mean, I can't say enough good stuff about Prep and Landing. So I do like this one. I would recommend it, but I'd recommend Prep and Landing be the first thing you go to when you start rolling out your holiday specials and drinking your hot cocoa and sitting around the fire and watching Disney Plus. And
Make sure you get Hawkeye in there.
you know, is that like Die Hard at this point? Like, it sort of
I've
counts as a
never
Christmas
seen
thing?
Die Hard. I have no intention of ever seeing Die Hard. I'm fine. It's
What?
whatever. There's a
How are we
million 80s
friends?
action movies.
What?
Because you like these overrated basic things. You're a pumpkin spice latte and Ugg boots, buddy.
There's a video I need to send you about being basic. There's a reason that things are so popular,
Is it
and
from
that's
College Humor?
it's
Because
'cause-
I've seen it.
yes,
I've
yes,
absolutely seen it.
yes,
Uh,
yes, exactly. Of course you do. They're wonderful. Yeah, no, it's me to a T. I mean, I never say that I'm not, but I like to like things, and I think that things are popular for a reason. But anyway, we'll hear what everybody else has to say. We'll wait until when the video's over. Leave in the comments and let us know what you thought of the Duck the Halls, or even the Mickey Mouse shorts. Either one, we'd love to get your feedback on that. But again, Patrick, my friend, thank you so much for sitting through these 23 minutes, even though it sounds like it wasn't
it wasn't
a great investment of your
terrible.
time.
I would rather somebody spend their time with something they like. If you're looking for nostalgia, go for the things that you're nostalgic for. Don't go for something new.
Do all the Rankin and Bass hold up?
No. I just rewatched Rudolph. Man, Santa is unnecessarily mean to Rudolph, and so are his parents. It's rough. It's actually a lot worse than you thought it was. And also, Yukon Cornelius is strapped and has a knife. Like, what is he? He's just, yeah, it's crazy. Frosty definitely holds up. I just watched
Dude.
Frosty. I haven't watched Year Without a Santa Claus or Santa Claus is Coming to Town yet.
Okay, all right. Santa Claus is coming to town. Just a word of warning. And Paul Frees is Burgermeister Meisterburger. We love Paul Frees. Mm-hmm. He's from the Haunted Mansion and the original Auctioneer. We love Paul Frees. But in that, there's a song. And I don't know where you're going to be watching it, so I'm not sure if that song will be there or not. But in there's a song where Kris Kringle is becoming Santa, and he's like setting up all the rules, and and there's a part where he says, "If you sit on my lap today, a kiss, a toy is the price you'll pay." I mean. Things that we just took for granted as kids, and now I'm like, what just happened? Did I watch it and tell me that doesn't like floor you when they say stuff
Emmett
like
Otter
that?
holds up. Emmett Otter is the best. Why it's not on Disney?
And there ain't no hole in the wash tub.
Yeah, it's streaming on Amazon Prime right now for free, I believe. Yeah. So go.
A lot of people asked about it being on Disney Plus, and it's not, because even though it's Jim Henson, it's not. It is on Disney Plus.
Disney, yeah.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much. I hope if I don't talk to you again, you have a safe and happy holiday season, and same to everyone else out there. But hopefully, you guys will catch up with us.
To all of our fans, they deserve a happy holiday season, no matter what they're celebrating.
But at the very least, on December 17th, you will be on our 250th episode of Park Center. So I'll see you then, buddy.
You'll see me then.
All right. You guys have a great week, and we will see you next time.